Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked into a woman's eyes and seen nothing? No love, no empathy, no soul, just a cold, calculated silence. A silence that knows how to smile while slowly breaking you. A silence that invites you in, just to bury you alive. Carl Jung didn't just study the mind. He warned us. He said, the most terrifying thing about a woman is not her beauty, not her body, not even her betrayal. It's the shadow inside her she refuses to face. And you walked into her world thinking you'd be her king, but you didn't realize. Some women don't want love, they want power, and they will drain your life like a glass of red wine with a smile on their lips and blood in their soul. Carl Jung believed that every human being carries a shadow, a dark, unconscious side of the self that we deny, suppress, or ignore. But he also revealed something most psychologists won't dare say out loud. That the feminine shadow, when left unchecked, becomes one of the most dangerous psychological forces on earth. You see, when a woman refuses to confront her pain, her trauma, her need for validation, she doesn't heal. She evolves into something else. She becomes a mirror of destruction, seduction, chaos wrapped in softness. Jung called this the dark anima, not the nurturing mother, not the loving wife, but the seductress of the soul, the woman who doesn't want you. She wants what controls you, your mind, your masculinity, your sanity. And here's the terrifying part. Most men fall in love with her because she doesn't show up with a knife. She shows up with a need and makes you the villain when she bleeds. You ever wonder why some women seem addicted to attention? Why no amount of affection, gifts, loyalty, or worship is ever enough? Because love is not their drug. Control is. She doesn't want your love, she wants your weakness. Your emotional addiction, your obsession. Because the more you chase her, the more power she feels. This is not the divine feminine. This is the wounded shadow. It dresses like love. It talks like connection. But it's built on survival, manipulation, emotional extraction, and psychological warfare. And Carl Jung knew it. He warned us, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Over you, they date you to watch you fall, not because you're evil, but because your fall validates their broken power. The most dangerous woman is the one who knows she's beautiful and hates herself anyway. That combination? It's a nuclear bomb wrapped in lipstick and perfume. She walks in the room, and you feel your lungs tighten. You want her. You need her. You'd burn your world for her. But what you don't see is the fire she carries behind her smile. This is the siren archetype. Carl Jung described her as a woman whose sexuality was weaponized by trauma, and whose attention was built to destroy. Think you're chasing her? You're not. You're being pulled by forces deeper than logic, instincts, fantasies, and unresolved wounds. Some women become sirens not because they're evil, but because pain twisted their power. And now, they feed on yours. You don't know what she hides in her silence. Behind her, "I'm fine," is a battlefield of broken trust, betrayal, shame, and rage. But instead of healing, she builds an empire out of that darkness. She becomes an expert in emotional pressure points. She knows how to flirt without words, how to punish without yelling, how to break you slowly, While pretending to love you deeply, you'll beg for her approval. You'll bleed for her attention. And when you're finally empty, she say you changed. She won't feel bad, because somewhere deep inside, she believes men are just tools, objects, steps on a staircase to her personal power. That is the dark feminine at its peak, when a woman's trauma becomes her throne. Now listen carefully, because this is going to mess with your head. You didn't fall in love with her. Your nervous system did. Every fight, every chase, every high-stress emotional roller coaster, it created an addiction. That's why you couldn't walk away. That's why even after she crushed you missed her, because she became your dopamine dealer. And here's the brutal truth. She knew it, maybe not logically, but emotionally. She knew exactly what she was doing. Dark feminine energy knows how to play the game. It's not about love. It's about making your system crave her chaos. And once that happens, even silence becomes a weapon. Carl Jung's most chilling truth wasn't about women. It was about you. He said, you don't become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. The only way to protect yourself is not to blame her, not to hate her, but to see her clearly. See the pain she hides. See the patterns she lives. See the manipulation not as evil, but as a survival strategy. And then walk away, because once you understand the dark feminine, you stop falling for looks. You stop mistaking drama for desire. You stop sacrificing your soul for a taste of attention. And most of all, you take your power back, not by fighting her, but by facing your own wounds, the ones that made you easy prey. Some women don't need a man, they need a mirror. But if you keep showing up like a puppet, they'll keep pulling the strings. So ask yourself, are you her lover? Or just the next victim of her shadow?